the show. So tonight
we are live.
The Myth and the Medium, which is Kate and myself, and we have with us tonight the one and only international spiritualist medium CSNU, Billy Cook. That we have lots and lots of comments, lots and lots of questions that have been sent in, loads of interest that has come in about Billy, for Billy. So what we'll do is hand over to Kate and just start with a couple of the questions that have been sent in, Billy, from people that are watching, and then we'll just have a chat thereon.
Okay. Okay. So, how do I know a few bits of your background, but for those that don't, and I can't believe those that don't know you, how did you get into all of this?
What's all of this?
All the spiritual world. How did you? Was you born into it? Was it something that you were told, or was it later on as an adult?
I've been one of those people that was not aware of the spirit. But I love it when people say, "Oh, I saw a spirit as a child." I didn't see a spirit. I saw ghosts. I had no idea what a spirit was. My mum used to read tea leaves, so I had an understanding that sometimes she'd contact spirit. But I knew everyone down the street was pregnant before their husbands because she was quite good at doing the tea leaves. But I grew up and saw things. She used to say to me, "Don't tell anyone, they think you're daft." So I didn't pay. I never was frightened of it, and I never paid any attention to it. And even when I left, I saw my mum when I was about 14 after she passed over, which was a great experience for me. I was being a little sod because no one was going to take the place of my mum. And my older sister was taking up that position with her husband. They stayed with us. And they'd all gone off. I think it was Jerry Lewis they went to see. Shows you how long ago it was, at the Palladium. And I didn't want to go. I was being a horrible little sod. And but it was about, I think it was about 1 o'clock, and I was still up. And they was coming back. And I made them a pot of tea, one of those old brown teapots that I showed the other day. And there's my mum sitting there in a pinafore and a turban on that she always did. I just simply said, "Do you want a cup of tea, Mum?" And then I went, "Oh, bloody hell, you're dead." And I ran out crying, and my elder sister, May, was coming along. She said, "What on earth are you crying for? What are you upset for? She wouldn't harm you. She only comes because she loves you." And that has been the basis of my mediumship ever since. The ties of love can never be broken. So I went away to see. I saw lots of things, spiritual and unspiritual. To me, it was not natural, but I seemed to have an understanding. And then after I left the sea, before I left the sea, rather, I should say, one of my last trips, my young sister Marlene died. My last memory was saying goodbye to her at the hospital, thinking she was going to get well, and she didn't. And I flew home from Houston. So they kept the funeral waiting for 2 weeks for me till I got home. And after that, everything was there. I didn't want to go back to sea. It was too much for me. And I was going to buy a hotel, which I did eventually in Blackpool. And I thought, now Marlene was very mediumistically, which I understand now. Then I just thought she was clever. And she always used to go and get readings and go to things. So I thought, well, I'll find out about this stuff. Marlene will tell me, and she'll let me know. So I went into it with the idea of just finding it out. I had no more interest in giving readings, doing things for anyone whatsoever. But in going into it, my own gifts, what I had laid dormant since the childhood, just come to the fore. And I was in Blackpool. My mate Steve and I used to go everywhere and for readings, go to different places, go see demonstrations, and I became more and more interested. And then I sold the hotel, and a little girl used to do readings in the shoe shop, and she said to me, because Steve always used to come around and say, "Oh, you must go and see this one or that one. And the little girl's a Welsh girl in the shoe shop. And you make out you're putting shoes on while she's done a reading for you. And I think it was about £3. And just made out he's buying the shoes. And it's only a cheap shop. I wouldn't have bought them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so she gave us a great message. All my loved ones come forward. And she said, oh, you'll be going down to Torquay. And she said, I'm seeing you open a cafe there. I just dismissed all that. And but anyway, all the other stuff I love. Message from my mum, my sisters and everything. And then she said to me, hold on and get the price for the hotel. You'll get it. It was the time of the Depression and it was going down. But I did hold on and I got the price. And I said to my mate Stevie, I'm going to go down to Torquay because I've got a few mates down there. And just for a last sort of fly before we were going to open a restaurant in Blackpool called Shakespeare. All very shishy. And while down there, just the night before I'm coming home, and I'm standing on the seafront. I don't know if you've ever been to Torquay, all them little lights. And I heard this voice say, you've had your fun, now's the time to start working. And I go, who's that? Who's that? Yeah. And I now realise it was the guide. But it was so strong. That was on a Monday. I went back. The guy that was going to buy the cafe from the restaurant, I'd given £1,000 to him to take it off the market. And he wouldn't give it back to me, but I didn't care. And on Saturday, I was living in Torquay. It was that strong. Stevie drove me down and said, what on earth are you doing? My dog was in my lap, the furniture. It was like my old man said, follow the van. And so we got down there. But the day before I went, Steve come in once again. Oh, you must go and see this Daft Queen. She's fabulous. So I goes around, the door opens, goes and I thought, oh my God. And goes upstairs and this gay lad was in the corner. And he said, oh, you're the one that used to call me Mystic Meg, aren't you? And I said, only a joke. But he used to talk to all the plants in the room and everyone thought he was a little bit crazy. And he gave me the most fantastic read I've ever had. He gave me my loved ones. He told me I'd be sitting in a circle, just dismissed it. He named, which I found out afterwards, the people that I'd sit in a circle with. He was quite correct. And he also told me about going in theatres. I said, oh, I know people in theatres. I just sort of dismissed it. And he said, you're like Torquay. Blackpool's not the place for you. Well, how does he know I'm going to Torquay? But he described the cafe the same as the little Welsh girl did. And when I got there, it was exactly as they said. Within a week, I was trading and it took off immediately. And from there, my mate Roy, that you've met down at Spirit Quest, he come into the cafe. He said, you fancy coming over to the Spiritualist Church? I said, oh, they got one, all right. So we went to Peyton Church and it was like coming home.
Wow.
And, there was a notice on the board saying, Betty Reeves starting a circle. We joined it. And that was the beginning. Then here we go. And that was the beginning. Started off in the local circles, local churches, further afield. And then I ended up working at the SAGB with Gordon Smith. And then I traveled to different parts of the country and then all around Europe. So, and now I'm back here in lockdown.
Yeah.
Messages online. Yeah.
Technology. Thank God for technology.
But it's been a fabulous journey. And, you know, I saw some sights when I was at sea. A girl did a reading for me once with the tarot. And she said, oh, my God, what a dreadful life. I said, it's been fabulous. It was wonderful. It might not be for her, but I enjoyed it very, very much. Because I used to joke with the students and say, my life was all sex, drugs, and rock and roll. They used to, oh, no. Yeah. So, but I always say, if I can sit and develop that gift that's within us, each and every one of us, it's about sitting and develop it. Anyone can. So that was the beginning of it all. And that's how it is. And hopefully don't stop developing and still go on serving spirit and my fellow man, which is great.
And how many years has it been now, Billy, that you've kind of been in that? church, and then 30 years plus.
I've been working 30 years as a professional medium, but before that, as I said, it was just sort of playing around, doing daft things. Yeah. So people say, how long have you been a medium? I feel I've been a medium all my life.
Yeah.
So
we've got a few hellos, and then we've got some questions that have come up.
Yeah.
Hello to Rachel Nelson. Hello to Anne Thomas, our Anne.
Hello, Anne. I've used my little mask. Thank you.
I got mine today.
Yeah. And
one.
Also, what's his name? Craig said, when's he going to get his one? Craig said, hello, my lovelies.
Yeah, Craig's on here. Where's he, Craig? Hello, lovelies to Craig.
Lee, my friend Lee.
Cindy.
Nicole, from here. Yeah.
Where are we? I'm low. There's
yeah,
quite
low here. Kevin Lee from South Florida, bless. Oh, thank you.
Kevin Lee thinks you're funny.
Who?
Kevin Lee from South Florida.
Oh, bless you, Kevin.
A new one for you, Billy.
We can go up bloody home in South Florida.
Got a few movies here. I think.
I used to love Tampa, and I used to love Fort Lauderdale.
Who we got there? Maxine Stevens. Hello, Billy. We met you at Spirit Quest. One of your groupies, I expect.
Oh, hello, darling.
Heidi. Hello, guys.
Hi.
Anne says, Billy, how are you coping with the physical contact, as we are great huggers without the physical contact?
Yes, I do miss it. A little cuddle amongst other things. But it is nice to have a little break, isn't it? And
I decided I don't like people as much as what I thought I did.
you can have a nice virtual hug, can't you? And I feel this is a wonderful way to keep in contact with people, but I feel so sad if it stops afterwards. Where people say, oh, right, we've done that and stuff. I think it's give us all an incentive to realise that we can keep in touch with each other.
Yeah.
It's people coming to say hello to me now, since this happened, that I haven't spoken to for years. And you know what it's like. You say, oh, I haven't spoken for ages. Will they speak? Do I care? But they do, and it's wonderful. Hello, Rachel. It's an old friend of ours, Rachel Nelson from Spirit Quest as well. So
yeah, there's lots in there. Paula Connolly. Hi, Billy. Do you think development groups are a must for development?
I think so. But there again, that's my beliefs. And everything that you hear on these shows or anywhere from any medium really is their views. You must find your own pathway and make up your own view and take what is on board. I sat in a circle and kept in contact after I left that circle for many, many years because we had a reputable medium. And that's the thing. If you're going to sit in the circle, you need a qualified, reputable medium that can tune into your energy as well as the spirit world and can tell you where you're going wrong, where you're going right. Not in the development as such of your own spirit and the growth of it, but where you're not putting forward the evidence in a correct manner. And that's what a circle does for you. It shows you, if you've got a good teacher, how to sit in the quiet, the power, as we call it, energy of spirit, how to feel that energy. If you've got a good teacher, she or he will take you through that. And I feel step by step by step that you gradually get that wonderful contact. My teacher said to me after 2 years, now we're going to get that stronger link with spirit. I said, I've been given messages. She said, yes, you have, not the spirit world. Because whether we like it or not, at the beginning of all development it's 98% you and just that little percent of spirit. And gradually, as we learn to sit and allow the spirit world to come closer, it becomes less of you and more of the spirit. And that's what a good teacher will show you and help you with. But it must be too often, it must be a good teacher. Too much, you see a well-meaning person that doesn't really have the knowledge as such. And it's like the blind leading the blind. And they're, for me, some people disagree, they're asking the students to protect themselves. Protect them from what? I don't need no protection for my loved ones in the spirit world. The spirit world, there's no fear, there's nothing to be frightened of. I get so worked up about it. Oh, protect yourself, the spirit world. I've never seen a daft, wicked, horrible. Gordon and I was talking about it not so long ago. We've never ever seen, Craig as well, we've never seen anything bad from the spirit. Horrible people, yes. When you give it a message and it's, oh, your dad was horrible. And I've had messages come from a paedophile for their loved ones. They still love them. I wanted to contact and say sorry to them, but I didn't like them. But while I'm tuned in, and this is what a circle learns to do, to sit in the energy of the spirit, allow them to come close. I don't judge them. The first lesson we always learn, not to judge anyone. Who am I to judge? And but if I know about that beforehand, I wouldn't do it for them because my own mind would get in the way. But when these people come and we feel that, we say, oh, that's not so nice. And you probably have heard me say, I do it, I'm saying craftily, cleverly. I'd say, did you like your father? Because I thought, oh, this is in a demonstration or a reading. I can't say, your dad was horrible, so-and-so. They say, no. And then it gives me carte blanche to say, allow him to come closer so I can pass on what he wants to say. But we have an integrity, we've got to keep that integrity to allow us to give the right information to the right person at the right time, whether they need it or not. And people
so just, I have a real big battle with people that talk about the negative spirit, the bad spirit, and I'm the only one that's like, no, you don't get it. That there isn't one. Why would that happen? Why would it connect?
It's their own minds. It's their minds.
Oh, and it's such a battle when you're the only one, and you've got 10 people convinced, and in the end, I just give up. But it's not true. Where it's not true, and oh, it's so hard. It's so hard to convince them that it's not true.
But the saddest thing is, a lot of people believe it, and they reckon they've seen these things. I haven't seen them. So what can I say? What can I do? And my mate Roy reckons he's seen bad things. I haven't.
Yeah. I did see once. I saw a black mass. It was at a house, and there was a lot of black mass. So I was at I was at a house.
A black mask. I have to say, what you at?
I was at a house, and she'd had a lot of activity, so she'd asked me to go around and cleanse it. And I was waiting for this person in the front room, and they'd had lots of arguments with her and her partner, and tears. And so the energy wasn't good. And I saw a black, it looked like a cloud. It was about that big, and it was just all weird shape, and it just floated past my feet and out the door. If I hadn't have seen it, I wouldn't have believed it. But to me, it was a build-up of energy. It wasn't anything spirit. It was just energy.
The negative energy they've built up over the years.
Yeah. So different between spirit and energy.
Yeah. It's that energy that you see. What we can all build, like the energy I'm building up in there now. I'm getting warm because I'm connecting with spirit to help me talk. I wouldn't dream of coming on here tonight without sitting in the quiet first and communicating. But Keith Hall and I, we went to a place in Timothy. Because sometimes Stansted used to bring up local people around here if they wanted their house cleaning and what have you. And we went there, and this young couple with a couple of kids there, and there was spirit everywhere. Mums, dads, their aunts, their uncles, everyone. And Keith said to them, what on earth are you doing here? They said, well, they keep asking us to come close. When we get here, they don't know what to do with us. So that's why spiritual education is important. It's so important. They've done away most of the time with lyceums, where the children used to go and learn about spirit. I feel that should still be around, if not so much a lyceum, but any church, spiritualist church, whether it's the Christian spiritualists, the Corinthians, even the SNU, they do need to have so people, not to push it down their throat like the Catholicism was when we was kids, or whatever church it was you went to, but to explain things properly. And then that would take a lot of the fear, because it's the one thing that's left in this world is the fear of death.
Yeah.
For me, it's the fear of heights. So
fear of the roots at the minute.
I'd watched you den once, Billy.
Yeah.
And besides the evidence being really, really good, and I think it was the one in Hythe, Kate, where you were there with Colin.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And often I go to Dems and I take a young lady with me that I support who's got I call it a learning ability. And when I usually take her along to Dems, most mediums, in fact, probably all of them, don't know how to take her presence in the audience, because she'll put a hand up for most things, and I'm putting a hand down and putting a hand down. And she's got a fantastic memory, and she will remember dates and years and everything of generations back that she's learned because of her ability, her learning ability. And you did the whole dem, and she kept trying, and you caught sight of her, and I was like, just wait, Nikki. And there was nothing there's a couple of things that you'd said that she maybe could have and then couldn't. And then right at the end, and this was the compassion that I really felt in the dem, you came over and you said to her, darling, you've been waiting all night for somebody, haven't you? And you said, let me see who I can get. And you stood there, and it was the last contact, and you actually got somebody. It was her boyfriend that had died, and you gave her enough evidence, and there's one piece that she couldn't take. And but when we went home, she relayed it all to her mum, and the piece at the end about a flower, and she said, no, Nikki, he's right, because you were the only one that was allowed to do that. And it was just the fact that you took that time. And a lot of mediums will say, you can't ask spirit to join you. You can't say, okay, who's here for this person? And they'll say, I just get what I get. But you really did do that. You said, let me see who's here for you. And you worked with her. And that evening I went away and I just thought, you know what, that's what it's all about. This is about the people as well.
Exactly. Mm. See, I have a great empathy for people of whatever the problem may be. If it is a problem, I don't see it as such. Just different people, and too often they get ignored, especially in a demonstration. And I don't. If they want to talk to me, it happened to me many times. I even down in Cornwall, when the mother had a baby, I just took the baby and did the dem with the baby in my arms. But you know, and it was quiet. When she took it back, it started crying again. But it is important that no one misses out. But remember that spirit's spirit. And you know, there's that old saying: look into the eyes of someone that may have a problem. Hello, are you all right?
Yeah, Jim, you all right, mate?
Yeah, we're fine.
So, same day, tell them they're going to get married.
Yeah, still not married.
Oh, I think she's made enough mistakes. But anyway, and he has. But anyway, it's just, I always say, look into the eyes of those children, of those people, and you can see the quality of their soul. And many times I've worked with people like that, whether it's Down syndrome or some, as they say, learning difficulties or whatever it may be, and their spirit in the physical body. And often I've been told that they are, the spirit's safe, the spirit's well. It's only the physical body that's handicapped in some way. And when they pass over to the spirit world, they leave it behind.
Mm. Well, you certainly proved it that night. It was
I do get into a lot of trouble because, as you know, I do like to have a joke and mess around. But a lot of people only see that side. They don't actually see the sensitivity side of what I try to do as well. And as a friend of mine, you know, they only hear what they want to hear. They don't actually hear the message as such or whatever it may be, because the humor must come within the message. Because if you stand there, otherwise you get a job as a stand-up. But it's got to come within the message. And I was doing a dem at Paynton Church many years ago, And this mother had come through to her daughter, and the daughter had been a ballerina and as a young girl and done dances and classes. And the mother said, she drove me mad. She kept cocking her leg up on the mantelpiece and spinning round. She said, oh, she used to drive me mental. So I said to this girl about you cocking your leg up on the mantelpiece and all that. And the girl was in hysterics. She said, oh, she said, that's what my mum, every day, or I'd be jiving and dancing with the door. A few years went by. It I'm saying about people only hear what they want to hear. This guy came up to me. He said, oh, he said, you was a bit risky that night in painting. I said, what do you mean? When he said, you were talking about that girl that cocked her legs up in the air. I said, did you not hear the message? All the message. See, some people, especially when they're negative, or they only want to hear what they want to hear, listen to the whole thing. And not, it's like politicians now, instead of taking everything out of context because it may make you feel better or superior, then it's wrong. Listen to the whole thing. That's the most important thing. And I think it's important that the joy of spirit, as I always say, you must have heard me say it that night, many people come and say, look at me, I'm still alive, not dead. And they come because many of those people that come to see me are people that have lost their dear ones and are grieving. So hopefully for just an hour or two, we can put a smile on their faces. And
that, Billy, I love watching your dems. You bring everything together, not just the evidence and but the humour with it, and the package together is always perfect.
It's got to be lively. It's got to be fun. And I've seen the most brilliant mediums all in my life. And then they do a demonstration. The evidence is spectacular, wonderful, but they're boring.
Yeah.
So people turn off a bit and they look at us. They don't actually hear it. And I think, oh, come on, get a personality.
When it was, where did we go? Eastbourne at Christmas. You and Gordon together, and Craig. The behind the scene banter that comes across on the stage is just perfectly. It's really, really. And then you get away with a few little things because the evidence is so good. And you know the cheekiness that some people might not be able to get away with because the evidence is so good. It blows it out the water. You know, it's amazing. It's good. It's good.
That's why it's enjoyable to work with Craig and Gordon, because you're on that same level.
Yeah.
And banter is good as well, as long as you don't lose sight of the evidence.
Yeah, yeah. We've got a few more questions. I've got quite a few more questions. Kevin Lee, who is in Florida, has said, Billy, what is the most important or pivotal thing you have learned direct from spirit for yourself?
Apart from being how beautiful I am.
Oh, by the way, Danny has invited you to Florida as well.
Yes, he has. We're going. Kevin, we'll all go.
We'll all come, Kevin. Anyway, I think he was in Weymouth tonight, wasn't
he? Who?
Kevin.
Kevin Lee.
Yes.
He said he was in Florida.
Yeah, but I think he was doing a service in Weymouth tonight.
Oh, was he?
Not sure.
Ashley's place. Yeah. Where what's name was the other day?
Oh,
Spirit of Light or something.
Yeah, she's a great host. Great host.
Lovely.
Yeah,
anyway, Kevin, the most important thing is what for myself, which I think a lot of people have gone through, is about learning to love yourself, which a lot of people find it very difficult to, about being selfish, but it's not. And I feel that you have to learn to love yourself before you can go out to the world and learn to give that love to other people in a spiritual way, of course. And it is important. And of course, one of the most things I learned from spirit was not to judge. Not to judge. That's important for me.
Claire Francis has asked, where can you find somebody to help nurture your abilities?
Where are you from, Claire? I don't know where you're from, but if you are I would say to people to start off with, go to your local church or centre, or if you have something around you, and then, as I said, and also go by word of mouth, and someone that tells you, that they had a sitting, just to say that they had a good session or whatever it may be, or they've been with them. And you see, in our church here, we have got healing classes, we've got development classes, awareness classes, and it gives people an opportunity to go in and learn, whether it's at the Zeta Christian Spiritual Church Centres or the SNU. And I feel it is important to get that that knowledge right from those people that know what they're doing, and not just go to any scatty old centre. So, Sunday is Weymouth, Kevin just put there. We'll have to tune in and say hello to you, Kevin. And we're waiting for the address when it's lockdown's finished.
Maxine says, love yourself before doing anything else. Once you love yourself, you can truly love others.
What I just said, my darling. True.
Yeah. So one of the questions that somebody had asked before is how, and I get asked this a lot from people, how do you know when it's your mind or when it's spirit? There's a fine line between your mind and the spirit. Simply
develop. That's all it is. And that comes with experience. Remember what I said before about 98% you, a little bit spirit. If you've got a good teacher, they will show you how to do this. And gradually you will get that at one with. But I do emphasize the sitting in the power, sitting in the energy, because it's important that the vehicle, that's you, fills up with fuel. The fuel is spirit energy, sitting in the power. And that could take you anywhere. But there's no answer to it as such. You have to just sit, and through experience of sitting in a oneness with spirit, that you will gradually know. But on a more practical level, it's the evidence. If the evidence is correct, and you don't know, I'm in Germany and I'm giving someone a name, a street, or whatever it may be, then where did I get that from? And their mama's telling me this. So it's about the evidence on another level as well. All about.
They're too rushed, I think, too quick to want to get out there and earn a few pennies by being a medium, aren't they? I think in the slow development, people are just too rushed.
They are these. You see, the thing is, I still ask, which what a question I was asked many years ago: is it a career? Is it a job, or is it a calling? For me, it was always a calling. When I had my cafe in Babbacombe, I earned more money than I was earning. And people still think that I earned thousands doing this job. So I might do a couple of good numbers or going abroad. But then again, from there, you've got all kinds of expensive. But then I may not get that for another couple of months. And people don't realise that. And people say, oh, you shouldn't charge for, shouldn't charge for your gifts. And there's the old saying, you charge for the time. But I asked right from the beginning, because it's a thing that all mediums go through. Oh, what about charging? Oh, it's a gift. It's from God and all this. And I asked my guide, what about it? And I was told, look, we keep a roof above your head. You'll have enough to eat. How you earn your living is up to you. And I find that's fine. But of course, in saying that, I don't think you should be greedy. And some of my friends are out there know what I mean. There's certain people that would charge 150, 200 pounds for a reading. I think that is absolutely disgusting. I hear people say, oh, and some of these people, oh, people want to pay it, they'll pay it. And, we've got to get the money, and all that. And I think, oh my God, are you really going back? Is it a calling or is it a career? To me, it's never been a career. It's always been a calling.
We've got Scott Milligan here, who's with us last week. Hi, Scott. And his question for you, Billy, is where do you think mediumship is going?
Nowhere.
There you go, Scott. No.
Mediumship has never changed over the years. People say that. Mediumship is not as good as it was in the old days. I've known some fantastic mediums today and psychics. I've looked at some of the old when I first saw, we was once again talking about this recently. You look at when some of those wonderful mediums from the old days used to come to our church, and you can see them here or there. I was in awe. I thought how wonderful they are, because I knew no better. Then when you grow and you gain knowledge, and then you look at some of the things and you understand, oh, it's not as good as I thought it was in those days. It's like when we think about the old days, how wonderful it was. Oh, the good old days. It wasn't that good, was they? When you're running around trying to get a bit of bread and jam to eat. Some of you will know what that means. You know, so it hasn't changed over the years. There's been good mediums, bad medium. It's still the same. Mediumship. He asked the question, where do you think mediumship is going? And I feel it's always the same. You're going to get good ones. You're going to get bad ones. You're going to get ones that charge too much, ones that don't charge at all. Nothing will change. And I would say all you've got to do is look after yourself, do the best you can. But don't forget that oneness with spirit. And that's the reason that you're doing it. For the joy of spirit.
So after lockdown, Billy, what planned for the World with Billy Cook then? Where can we see you? Where can people?
I don't know.
What workshops planned for?
I'm supposed to be doing a course with Les Henson, which some of you know. Les, some of the girls on here tonight in Haverny Cohen. That's at the 28th of June to the 4th of July. But whether we have to change that or not, we don't know. But it may go back to another date. But that's one of our favourite ones. I've been doing it for about 10 years. Keith Hall was doing it with me first, and then Les joined me, which is great. And we have little Ricky Whitemore come there, and he comes and does little things. So he comes and helps us. And then Craig and I are supposed to be going over to Copenhagen in September. I'm in Stockholm in October. Back to Eastbourne in end of October. I can't remember where else if I haven't got my diary here. It'll be on Facebook anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, anybody that's watching, Billy said earlier, oh God, don't look at my website because I don't use it. So his Facebook is always the best place to go and find.
Put everything on there. And if anyone wants me to come to their churches or centres, just let me know. Or you can put a demo on for me somewhere. We're always welcome to go there, you know. So we look forward to that. Yeah.
Heidi has asked, can anyone connect, or do you have to have a gift?
An old question, an old chestnut. When I first started doing this, but my mind, see, with knowledge, your mind changes, doesn't it? And I thought, if I could do this, anyone can. Cocky little boy from the Essex. And then as I began to grow with it, it changed. And I believe that everyone's got a gift. It's called spirit, because you are spirit in a physical body. And then it's up to us if we wish to develop it. And the first thing that I do with students is talk about the development of the soul of the spirit. Because as we said about loving yourself just now, if you're not going to develop your own spirit, what's the point of doing it? And often you see a medium that hasn't developed, might be excellent, but if they haven't developed spiritually, you can see it very different from a spiritual medium and are working for the love of God. Very different. So I feel it is important that the soul of the spirit is developed first. And then as that develops, then everything else will fall into place. But some will go on to become Chopin and be fantastic. Some will play chopsticks. Does it matter? If you're taking chopsticks out to the public on the platform, you won't get booked. But if you're doing it for family or friends or people that love and care for you, what's the problem? Or in your church, a psychic supper, and it brings happiness to you. That's important. I believe you've got a gift, but it's up to us if we wish to develop it.
Is it, you know, as you speak and throughout all of this, I think the one thing that I've felt and is very much about acceptance for you, from accepting spirit from when you were younger, accepting the people along your life, how your life's gone, and just even talking then, it just seems to be has this influence of acceptance with you, Billy. Would you say that's true? It's kind of.
I accept spirit. It's always it's just something I was never frightened of. I just accepted it. It was sort of always there, and I've never been frightened by it.
And just with people, you're talking about non-judgment, and that's very much so. Just your acceptance of people and mediums within the arena at the moment. You can hear very loudly, "I do what I do, let you do what you do."
If we're not doing harm to people, yes. But I don't think you should drive 80 miles for childcare. But remember, the people, the old pioneers, a lot of them was politicians and journalists that started our movement off. And I don't think that our movement is political enough. I think it should be more political, where people stand up and allow people to have their say. And by doing that, we got to march at the Brentry in November.
At the cenotaph, which is very true.
Yeah, which is good. But, yeah. So yes, I think it's important. But I think I'm the same as everyone else. I think even after all this, I feel I'm getting somewhere, and then I take a step back, and then I think, oh bloody hell, I thought I'd learned that, and then I have to start again, or not start again, slap myself and say, come on, you can do that.
Isn't it? Is that life? Is that just life anyway?
It's called life, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we try not to judge. That's the most important thing. Now you see, that's where spiritual growth comes in. You see, years ago, I might have judged someone, and I wouldn't have cared less. And now you see, the first thing awakens in your development as well is the conscience. You begin to care. You have compassion. You begin to love people. And I feel that's very important. But when I'm working in that spiritual mode, when I come out of that spiritual mode, I'm not tuned in 24 hours a day. When I come out of it, young Katie there, Sydney at it. I like a bevy. I get on that dance floor and boogie away. I'll have a joke. I'll have fun with my friends. But when I'm working, it's a different thing. It's Billy Cook, the medium, and Billy Cook, that lives life. And sometimes it overlaps, but I'm very much aware of I am two different people in that respect.
Tim Abbott.
Yeah, message from Tim Abbott. Evening, Billy. A lot of people think the definition of evidence is things like names and anniversaries. I don't necessarily agree with that. What is your definition of evidence?
If you don't agree with it, what you're asking for, Tim. Hello, mate. You're right. As you probably know, Tim is an old friend of mine. Anyway, thank you. And it's quite true, Tim, about the evidence. People seem to think that's all it is. And, nothing's worse than when you do it. You just go to see a medium demo, and all they do is throw out names. There was a lady once at the SHGB. I don't know if she was there then, Tim. And she stood there and she went, I have a Bill and a Fred and a Jack. And that's all she did. But it's not about names. It's the evidence of many different things, not just anniversaries. You see, Tim, I like to get the evidence of the person, of the soul, and I want them to come as close. So I feel I'm having a slight overshadowing with those people and get the evidence of that person, their mind and everything about them, their actions, who they are, what they do. So there's much more to it than just names and anniversaries. I mean, there's a certain medium that we all know that say, 21st of August, someone knows it. Right, I want to come to you, and I should have done that. But anyway, I know people think, that's good. But that to me is not evidence. Evidence to me is getting that computer to come closer and feel that, and giving the evidence of the Spirit as well, not just the evidence of anniversaries, names and things. And it should be a package, the whole thing together about certain things. But in saying that, me giving that boy his mum's purse may be the most powerful thing I could do for him. He might not need anything else, where someone else will want the I's dotted and the T's crossed. So it's up to the individual. And that goes back to knowing who you're working with, getting to feel the energy of the Spirit and what I can give for them, and leave me out of it and allow Spirit to speak. Spirit has one voice, yours, and that's what I believe.
Well, I think we've got a quick question to nearly finish up the evening, which has been really enjoyable, I've got to say. From Karen Dickinson was Twynham. There you go. Do people have lots of spirit guides or just one? Or do different spirit guides appear at different times in your life?
People have different views on this. I believe I have one guide in the spirit world that is the overall boss over there. I have helpers, people that have changed over the years to take me to a certain level. And also they help me with different things. So I believe that we have, I call them my team now, my little team that's around me. When I'm doing philosophy, I have a certain person that is very serious with it when I work with it. And people used to say, I'm like a born-again Christian when I'm working with it. And I've also got another one that works with me. And that's when I know I can feel the energy with him. It makes me want to smile. And perhaps have a little crack because he's Irish. And, you know, you'll get it. My mum helps me. My sister that I spoke about helps me. So you will get family can help you as well that comes up. But I believe my guide is there, who's in charge of everything, and over that side. We have one we call the spirit, the healing guide, but that's under the auspices of the main guide that brings these people in. So, but people have to make up their own minds and find out. Listen, you see, I can tell you these things, you can tell them, but they've got to learn to sit for spirit, learn to find out who's working with them. That's the most, because we are all on a different pathway. We all need different things for our pathway.
I think that's, and I don't know if you communicate in circles, that's one of the things I've found quite a lot along the way is, can you tell me who my guide is?
You've got to find it yourself.
Yeah. The question
find them yourself and you'll know.
Exactly. I joke about this, but it's true. Lillian Hurst, that used to be the president of our church, used to come over to my cafe every Friday morning, or Friday lunchtime, and I'd do fish for her. I think she was a frustrated Catholic, really, so she had one in each can, just in case. And she used to give me a different guide every week. So, because I respected her, because she was a good medium and a lovely person, I used to get frustrated. I think, oh. And I used to go there on the following Monday, which was our night of the circle, and my teacher, Betty, she used to say, stop listening to that silly old cow. You change guides more times than you change your underwear. And she was right. And I had to learn to sit there and listen to my own soul, my own spirit, allow myself to allow it to come even closer. Because when someone tells you, your mind's very clever, isn't it? And you think, oh, I have got Jack the Ripper here with me. So I must be. That's why I don't like anyone. No, that's you. But you know, when you feel that you've got a nun there with you, or a monk, or whatever it may be, your mind will take you into those places, and your mind can conjure up that picture of who they are. So, and it's damaging. You need to find out yourself. And I always say to the students, don't grab the first red Indian or Chinaman that comes along. Take your time. It will show you. And all that sitting in the power and in the energy, which I do for them, it takes a couple of years. But every time in what they see in their mind, because I always say, go on a journey of the mind, everything has a meaning. Nothing's thrown away. And I say to that as well, when they learn to demonstrate, Never throw anything away. If you're sat and developed it properly, you're getting it from spirit. So it's not coming from your own mind. You're getting it from spirit. If you learn to sit, that takes me back to what we said earlier on about, do you know what is your mind and what is spirit? If you learn to sit properly and allow it to come as close as possible, then you know. Your recognition sign, I get a little throbbing when my guide's there, just here, my nose. And when I get that little throbbing, I think, all right, in place. But in talking about guides, and we want to talk about that, remember, they are there as my teacher, my friend, my helper, not my master. And people seem to forget that. I'm in charge of this side. I'm quite capable of running my own life. I don't need anyone to tell me how to run it, including the spirit world. They've had that.
That's the Leo in you.
Yeah. And it's a joke that I won't tell you. But anyway, it's important that you do run your life. Of course, spirit will help us. When I go have a problem that I feel I need help with, as I'm going to bed, I say, it depends what it is. If it's something, I say, Mum, give me a hand with this. And the next day, I find out when I wake up, it's clear. Or with the guide or the helpers, I do healing for myself. And I found out something the other day. You never stop learning. And I was asking for the healing, and the guide was there, and he said, the trouble with a lot of healers is they don't go deep enough. Not chance, but they don't go deep enough. And they just get the healing book or whatever it is, or just sit there and go, and that's it. You've got to go deep. You've got to sit in the energy, in the power, as though you're given a message, because you are a message of healing, and go as deep as possible. Then you feel the power of the healing. I thought, oh yeah. So I started doing that, and it's worked on my dodgy knee. And so I'll be dancing more at Spirit Quest next year. If it doesn't come back. But yes, you've got to allow it to go deeper with it. So that's good.
Well, it's been really, really enlightening and a very warm and honest conversation here this evening. Do you think, Kate?
There are a few more questions, but it's coming up to nearly 8 o'clock, and obviously everyone's going to be out clapping. So we kind of do have to draw it to a close. So, guys, if you want to ask Billy any questions, I'm sure he wouldn't mind you just messaging him on his Facebook page, Billy Cook, Spiritual Medium. I know Colin had a question for you, but he said it was too complicated to ask on this. Too deep. I'm sure he'll message you with everyone.
He's always asking questions. But someone asked about Reading. I was supposed to be going to do a thing with Reading, but I haven't heard no more from them. There she is. When you go and show your face at Reading, we miss you. Yes, I loved going there, but I haven't heard nothing from them. It's all changed there again, I think. But anyway, just waiting to hear. And
one more question before we go, just from Sue. May I ask you a question? When someone is in extreme stress, will spirit close you down to protect you?
I close down every time I work. I'll close down after this. And you should learn to close down yourself. But if that's what you mean, if you're open up to spirit,
if you're normally working and then all of a sudden you're under a lot of stress, and do you find you can't work, does spirit shut you down, or it's you, isn't it, that would shut you down yourself?
I've never found that. I've never come across that. But I would assume that you'd shut yourself down. Yeah. Or spirit wouldn't give you anything. So you close down.
Thank you very much. Very interesting. Look, we had lots of questions. So thank you, guys. Thank you for listening.
Tomorrow night at 7:30, I'm doing an online divine service for Windsor Church.
Oh, okay. Is that on Windsor Church's page?
It'll be on the Windsor page. I'll have it on my page as well. I think on my page now, and it is the Zoom, so it's there, the number of what it is. That's there on my page already. So, interesting. See you tomorrow.
Windsor Church.
Windsor, yeah.
You've got that Essex twang. You said nah.
That what twang?
The Essex twang.
I haven't lost it.
No, you haven't.
Talking about that, when I first went away to sea, and I met some of these posh queens, And I was in a pub in the East End of London, around the docks, and this mate of mine from Sea Days come in. He said, "Hello, Bill, how are you?" I said, "Oh, hello, thank you." Yeah. He said, "What the f you talking like that for?" So I thought, oh, just be yourself.
Be yourself.
And that's that. Same as your mediumship, you know me, and just be yourself. What you can't be anyone else. There's only room for you in there. So why try to be someone else or try to emulate someone else? Be you.
Why
You're special.
Thank you very much, Billy. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, for
Lovely to speak to you again. Hope to see you again soon. Yeah. You too.
on his Facebook.
God bless. Bye-bye.
And Mr. Medium will be back in 2 weeks with psychic animal communicator Jackie Weaver. So the details are on our page for that. I'll say goodbye and thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.